And the minute I actually start to have fun and go out and make friends, this comes around.
What is up, you guys? It's your girl Sophia and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because it's going to be more informative and more serious than my usual videos are, and we are going to be talking about COVID-19, aka the coronavirus. I think it's important to use your voice to speak out on things that are important when they do come around, and even though a lot of people are joking around about it or whatever, I do want to spread some facts and use the little platform that I have to speak about something that I think is actually really important in this time of our life. For those of you who don't know, I am a medic in the Army, a 68 Whiskey. It's the title of it is combat medic, but I do work in the clinic and I work beside a doctor he's an MD, went through schooling, all of that stuff, so he's very smart. And we have a lot of intellectual conversations, especially about this stuff that has been going on recently, and I take his word very strongly and his information very strongly. I did do some of my own research and reading myself as well, so I just want to say that my sources are reliable and what I'm saying isn't just coming out of my ass and me talking for no reason. So I'm just gonna get right into it. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe to my channel. Not all my videos are like this. If this is your first video that you're watching, I am not usually the serious type of person, but this video is going to be more on the serious side. Okay, so we're going to start off with what COVID-19 is. Like I said, the coronavirus, I feel like calling it COVID-19 is more professional, more technical, more of the correct term instead of saying coronavirus. But I have notes here, that's why I'm looking down occasionally. But basically, the coronavirus or COVID-19 is a respiratory infection. It's a virus. It's not bacterial, it's viral, and it causes pneumonia, flu, cold-like symptoms. The two top ones are sudden fever and a dry cough. We have 14 receptors in our lungs, and usually things like the flu or other viral infections affect 3 to 5 of those receptors that we have in our lungs, but COVID attacks 12 of those receptors. That's why people who have it and who are testing positive for it, everything is very quick, or a lot faster than a regular cold would be, and that's why it's more fatal than a regular cold or the regular flu would be. Even though the flu is still pretty serious, COVID is a level above that. So where it came from, there's a lot of opinions on that. Some say that it is bioengineered, and some say that it occurred naturally through animals or whatever. My personal opinion, you don't have to agree with me, but my personal opinion is that it was bioengineered, meaning that it was created in a lab purposefully to attack. I say this not as a race thing, it is more political and way beyond my own head, way beyond a lot of people's heads. I think a lot of people especially in nowadays, people don't want to blame a race or whatever because we're all so, let's just kumbaya and whatever. But the fact of the matter is that there are still people out there, and not specifically a race, but like I said, political wise, they have political beliefs that they still want to put out there and want to share or control, or whatever word you want to use. So I do, in my personal opinion, think this is a biowarfare tactic to do whatever. I don't, like I said, I'm not going to speak on it. I'm not going to elaborate on it too much because it's over my head and I don't have all of the knowledge to be able to explain myself in the way that I wish I could. But moving on to why social isolation and quarantine is important, I'm actually going to be showing you guys a graph. Okay, I'm going to be using this clipboard with plastic over it to be showing you guys this graph. I know that there's the reflection from my ring light, but hopefully you can see it decently. So the y-axis is going to be the death rate, and the x-axis is the time period. This dotted line is hospital capacity, and without social isolation, the death rate and the time period looks like this. So everyone up here is more than likely to be dead. But with social isolation, the graph looks more like this. So most of these people are going to live because we're not filling up hospitals. Like I said, the dotted line here is hospital capacity. If we don't social isolate, then more people are going to be at risk of dying because hospitals will be overwhelmed and there won't be enough beds for everyone. If we do, then we will have control over how many people are going in the hospital. We might reach the capacity, but we won't overfill it. And that means that it will last longer. So I hope that graph helped and made sense. When I saw the graph, it made sense to me, and I thought that was a very important part of information that I should be sharing with you guys. So if we don't quarantine, then more people will die. If we do, it'll last longer, but there's going to be less deaths. It's also important because there is a 10 to 6 rule, meaning you're standing 6 feet near people for 10 minutes, then you are more than likely to catch the virus. So if you're 6 feet away or more, the better, and being 10 feet. So if you're in a club and there's people this close to you and you're there for hours, and you're more than likely to catch the virus and you are then staying home. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but you know, some people are like, why do you have to stay home, or this stuff is stupid, but it's not, because you are less likely to get it if you stay away from people, because obviously it's airborne. So now what I want to get into is more of the scientific part of it. A lot of people are wondering when the virus is when the vaccine is coming, and the reason why it's taking so long for this vaccine to arrive is because scientists are trying to figure out the weak spot of the virus. They're trying to figure out on a molecular level what spot can they hit that makes the virus ineffective. So viruses are not like us, where our cells are alive. It gets all of its DNA from the host itself. So the virus keeps on changing, and it's hard to figure out the common denominator if it keeps on changing. So they're trying to figure out what the common denominator is so they can isolate it and attack it, and then that's how they'll make the vaccine. So because it keeps on changing, it is more difficult to get the vaccine. And then that brings me to the tests and why the tests take hours to days. So they use this jelly-like thing. I'm not exactly sure what the name of it is called, but it's like a jelly-like thing, and they put basically the virus in there, and whatever receptors light up, so there's columns in the platform or whatever they're using. Say that there's 6 columns in this platform, and then each column they're putting, you know, drops of the virus or swabs, whatever, in the jelly, and in those columns, whichever ones light up, whichever ones they see. I'm not a scientist, I don't do this, so I'm just telling you the gist of it. That's how they tell if it's positive or not. But that alone takes about 6 hours to do, and then they have to wait and analyze what's changing so that they can accurately confirm that these people are positive for COVID-19. But that brings me to some good news. Since there is a test for it, and since the test came out fairly quickly for it, that does mean that it is related to another virus that we have already, meaning that the the vaccines for it should be on its way, if it's not already. So another thing is precautions. A lot of people are saying, oh, wash your hands, blah, blah, blah. And then there's another side of people who are like, that is so dumb, like, we're not doing anything, whatever, whatever. The fact of the matter is, a lot of people don't wash their hands, a lot of people don't wipe down their doorknobs, a lot of people don't wipe down their keyboards, a lot of people don't do these things on a regular basis like they should already be doing. That being said, it is important to spread awareness on the precautions to take, because the virus, it is said that it can live up to 2 to 3 hours on surfaces and things like that. So wiping down your keyboards, especially if you're sharing keyboard at work, like say like a cash register, wipe down the surface so that whoever before and after you're done using it, so that whoever used it before you, if they were positive, you were less likely to get it because you were killing whatever was on the surface that you're touching. Especially at work, wipe down your doorknobs, wipe down your doorknobs at home for having people over, things like that. It lives mostly on metal and plastic surfaces, so keep that in mind when you are wiping things down. Keep hand sanitizer on you. Washing your hands is better than hand sanitizer, but if you can't wash your hands, hand sanitizer is perfectly fine. Wearing masks, wearing eye goggles, all of that stuff. If you see someone out in public and they look crazy, trust me, they're not. They're just taking the proper precautions because they don't want to get sick. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is why I'm annoyed about this whole debacle. The minute I don't do anything. I always stay home. Literally every weekend I'm home, I'm not doing anything. And the minute I actually start to have fun and go out and make friends, this comes around. And I'm not saying that you need to stay home forever, you need to be locked in your house. You can still go out and do things, you just have to take the proper precautions for it. And that's what I'm doing. So I tried yesterday, and there was just no point in leaving the house anymore, because, you know, it's not fun when no one's there. And it's good that no one's there because everyone's doing social isolation. But at the same time, I'm like, why does it have to come right the minute that I start to have fun? The minute I start to have fun, it wants to show up. And honestly, like, I'm not mad about it, but I'm mad about it. So, but yeah, guys, I hope that this video was informational. I hope that it cleared some stuff up for you. I hope that you got some types of facts, or it changed your opinion, or made you less scared, or whatever. I hope it did something for you, because that was my intention of making this video. Subscribe to my channel for more videos every week. Comment down below what kind of video you want to see next. Click the bell to get a notification every time that I post, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.